Okay, well, I just got groceries. And filling these RV fridges and freezers is like adult Tetris. Yeah, that's what I was really going for. Not bad. Okay, today's project is working on something to run from that rain gutter, that opening right there. Just run something over to the top of the tote for filling it up with rainwater. Now, I happened to find one of these at Canadian Tire, maybe. So yeah, this is what this thing looks like all extended out, and obviously you can bend this into whatever shape you really need. Yeah, so I don't know if that's gonna work or if I should just try to organize that spout that I already had and just position it in the same place. This thing is really big and all of these kind of make dips, so I don't know if the water is gonna run as easily. I mean, if it were pouring down rain, obviously it would flow through there, but you see what I'm saying? The water's gonna have little uphill battles. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure something out. Alright, here's the big heavy-duty adapter that came with this thing. Did I thread this the wrong way? Hard to believe that inside of there is literally just a thin flap of plastic that seals that water off. Super thin flap of plastic. It's crazy. Okay, so it looks funny, but it just may work. This adapter here, fitting, what do you want to call it? I didn't have something that was going to fit this size hose. So I just took this from one of my other barrels and just kind of put it together with this piece of hose that came with this originally. Obviously I'm probably going to have to put clamps here and here, but it just might work. It's pretty wild looking, but sometimes you've got to work with what you have, and that's what I'm kind of trying to do in this situation. Alright, this is what I'm up to now. I'm wrapping the tote in a tarp. I actually have two tarps. This one only went part of the way around, halfway around I guess, so the other one will take care of the other half. You don't want any light penetration. If you've got water in one of those things, the light's going to go right through that plastic material. Yeah, it's going to put algae in your water, so that's the reason for me covering that thing with the tarps. Yeah, so it's going to look like garbage, but as long as I don't have algae in my water, I guess that's the main thing. You ever get really frustrated with a project and just feel like giving up and drinking beer? Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Alright, here we go. Does it look like garbage? Absolutely. But will it keep the light out? Absolutely. Got this tiny little opening over here, and I can see like where the water level is going to be at. Get the numbers here on the side. There's even a gap here where I can open this up to fill it up and stuff. Well, this is what it looks like from the back. Thankfully nobody can really see back here because it's not too aesthetically pleasing, but I mean, if it does the job, it's gonna hold a lot of water, a lot more than I'm used to. Alright, it's happening. Transferring my water. That one barrel is almost empty, and the water level is only to here in this tote. I've only got 2 barrels to put in here for now. I'll add more another day probably. So while I'm putting water into this thing, I kind of want to test this out. I'm a little nervous because I don't have clamps on here yet, but I just want to see if it's going to hold and allow me to put water in here without them. Maybe I won't need them, maybe it won't leak too bad. So here goes nothing. Oh, it's not really dripping or anything. Dripping a little bit here, that's probably... Oh no, it's definitely dripping there. That's my fault. I probably put the Teflon tape on backwards. Well, there's something to add to my to-do list. Put the Teflon tape on under here the right way. Same with here, I'm certain, because that's dripping as well. Anyway, we're filling up the onboard tank. Okay, onboard tank is full. Close that off. Well, that's something I'll have to fix. No big deal, you learn as you go. Comment down below if you had been considering going off-grid and then watched some of my videos and decided against it. I'm sure that has happened. Yeah, this is what it can look like some days. I'm quite certain that off-grid living makes most people look like a hoarder, even though they're not. It's just stuff everywhere. Alright, so those 2 barrels are empty and I'm about 350 liters on this thing. It holds over 1,000. So what are we at? About 80 liters of water in here. Keep in mind, I did dump some in my fresh tank, which was empty, and that probably holds 20 or 30. So yeah, that's 2 barrels of water, minus what was dumped into my fresh tank. So it could definitely hold another couple of barrels. Okay, so now I'm noticing a difference. I rethreaded this over here and I'm not seeing a drip, but I'm still seeing a drip here, so I've got to rethread this. You're going to be a problem, aren't you? Okay, never mind the junk I've got here. That's going out to the garbage. But this squirrel has been ripping at this. I mean, I don't really care. It's tablecloth from, you know, the dollar store, and it's covered in pine needles and everything else. But this squirrel is just trying to get all the little bit of stuffing out of it for its nest, I guess. Like I said, this isn't a big deal, but why do you think I don't have a barbecue cover? Because they did this to the barbecue cover in the past. Hopefully tonight is the night where I can get this leveled out. Hopefully I can get rid of this stuff this evening and get this gravel leveled. Cut off those suckers first. Here we go, yard is getting leveled out. I'm doing it, you guys. It's September 4th and I'm having my first fire. I have to. It's getting down to, I think, 11 degrees Celsius tonight, which in the camper just gets a little chilly. Fire's out. Good morning, or good afternoon actually. See what's going on behind me? No more piles of gravel. Tractor leveled all this out last night. Got my corner over here filled in. That's like my parking spot mostly. And check this out. There was enough to spread a thin layer down the driveway. Pretty happy with it actually. There was a big dip here that used to collect water when it rained. That's all filled in. Yeah, those 2 loads of gravel spread quite a ways actually. This driveway really needed to get done, but I just really thought I was going to do it next year, but got it done early. Perfect. And then as you can see, the rest of it was spread out enough to kind of come into the middle of the yard here, I guess. The yard, if that's what we're calling it. There's still some big stumps. This one here, there's just no way to really cover it completely unless you want like a big hump of gravel, and then it's uneven. So eventually, because the top is exposed, it will rot. There's kind of one over here. Not a huge deal, I guess. And another big one right here. So eventually those will rot and flatten out. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped. Now I've got all this open space for parking. This is a bit of a better perspective, although it looks like quite a slant here from this angle. It isn't really, so I don't know. Maybe it's just an illusion. But yeah, all this extra space. The dream is, at some point, and everybody, you gotta dream. I mean, what's life without dreams? The dream is someday to have a motorhome or something, and I can just park it here and work at it. But that might be somewhere down the road. And next year the plan will be fill this all in with gravel. There's all these rocks sticking out, so when you go to barbecue, you're tripping on stumps and rocks and damn near breaking your neck. So next year, hopefully, this will all be filled in with gravel, smoothed out, leveled out. And then at some point, I would love to get rid of this pallet shed. That was something that was also thrown up in a quick hurry, just to have something to store the wood in. And I'd like to get a 10 by 20, I think, tent shed for in there. And of course, to do that, I'd have to remove it and probably fill all this area in with gravel, level and smooth it out as well. Maybe next year. You can't get it all done at once, and that's fine. Well, my plan was to try and utilize this since it's so maneuverable, but because there are all these little ridges here, I think in a light rain the water's just not going to move quick enough. It's going to get caught in these little ridges because there's not much of a downflow from that spout. See what I'm saying? I'm probably going to have to use this corner piece up there and attach this piece here, which I was already using, and just cut it off so it can be on a straight angle right into the opening of the tank. Something kind of like this, you see. I'm actually not going to need to cut any length off of that at all. Can you guys see? I'm trying to pull this tarp back. Yeah, but this just lands right in the opening, so that's perfect. I thought I was going to have to shorten it. I think that's going to work, guys. Let's try that. Okay, got the cheesecloth all doubled up and zip tied on here. Got a little cheesecloth on here as well. So now what I think I'm going to do, set this up on here. And there we go. It's definitely isn't anything too fancy. And I'm not going to screw this onto here because I want to be able to just pull this down and take it off and replace the cheesecloth every so often when it gets really dirty and really gross. So kind of just have it so that the water's going to flow down into here and right into the opening of this thing. So it's got 2 layers of cheesecloth just to avoid any debris, and it's still covered from the sun so that the water's not going to get any type of algae in it. And then I just have the cap sort of sitting under here holding this up a little bit. Hopefully this isn't just going to fall off if it rains really hard or anything, but it feels snug. I don't think I'm going to need to screw that in. And like I said, I don't want to be climbing up here and taking screws out just to replace this cheesecloth. It's kind of just jerry-rigged, but I mean, it should work. Yeah, I went out and bought this fancy accordion style gutter and didn't end up needing it anyway. Now we're supposed to get a little bit of rain tomorrow, so hopefully on the next video I can update you guys on how it's going. Anyway, that's it for this one. I'm sure there will be a project again soon. So thanks for watching. Take care. Whew. You're really neglected, aren't you?